how do you first identify a problem? Is there a level of market research that you do to validate that, okay, this is actually a problem and the product I've identified is actually going to solve that particular problem? How would you go about doing that? Or is that part of the process?
Yeah, so usually how I structure product research would be, we kind of piggyback off the products that are just about to go viral or just about to do well, that we think, that we see within the past kind of 2 or 3 weeks. Those are the best products you can sell, because if it's 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months ago, you can do them, but they're usually a little bit saturated. So you might find higher CPCs because people have already seen the product before, right? So usually what we do when we're doing product research, I was doing some the other day actually, but we use like Facebook ad library. Facebook ad library is free. So if you're not using Facebook ad library already, guys, make sure you go check it out. We'll usually filter for ads that have basically been seen within like the past 2 weeks or so. And from then, we'll just look at, it's a lot to sift through, to be honest, if you're not too experienced, but we'll usually sift through like mini dropshipping brands that have been set up, that you can go ahead and, that you've not really seen the product before, but you know it solves some form of problem. So a product recently that was doing well was like, it was like a body shape. We've seen like a body shaping product. It was kind of like some pants where they'd pull it up and literally it kind of tummy tucks essentially. That would just kind of started going viral in the past few weeks. And those are the types of products where it's easy to identify a problem, because the ad copy will say something like, get an hourglass-like figure, you know, and you can even use ChatGPT as well and work on, you know, go deep into customer research. I think we even have a Notion doc of different prompts that you can use, but go into or just think of what do people struggle with. It's usually going to be time. Time being, you can sell them a kitchen blender product which cuts makes their life easier, or cuts what they're doing in time. If someone has a family, they don't have, you know, an hour to sit cutting up vegetables, you know? So that's a pain point. They want to spend more time with their children, etc. Confidence. If they've got acne, if they've got, if they're overweight, they're going to struggle with confidence. It might sound sadistic or something kind of pushing to that, but as impulse marketers, you have to, you know, everyone has their pain points, which they're not happy with or they can improve in their life. And it's easier to sell to those types of people than to just start selling, you know, wow factor products. So when it comes to product research, that's usually where we start, identify our pain point. Then from then you can research into it, go into Reddit forums, go onto Amazon reviews, see what the existing product or what's selling, see how it solved their problem, you know, and if it didn't, also check FAQs and overcome some kind of obstructions or doubts they have about the product. And on the product page, creatives, make sure you address them. So if people are saying, I've seen this product before and it doesn't work so well, or it works great, but it leaves red marks, or something like this, like a shaver, for example, then maybe find a slightly different variation to the product that also doesn't, and you address that on your product pages, you address it in your creative, doesn't give you strawberry legs or whatever it is, you know?
I think there's a quote from Picasso, and I'm going to mess this up, but he said something like, good artists create and great artists steal, or something like that. Like, don't start from ground zero, use other dropshippers' mistakes, or even if they're not dropshippers, maybe they are just an ecom brand, analyze what their customers are saying, and of course have a look at their creatives and put your own spin on it. So you mentioned going through customer reviews, whether that be on Reddit or maybe not on Reddit, but just like target demographic research, customer reviews on Amazon or even on Shopify pages and things like that. When it comes to the actual ad library itself, you said that you look for, I guess, trending products over the last 2 to 3 weeks that are just starting to come into the market, and you study mini dropshippers. How do you find mini dropshippers, or what was that?
Yeah, so basically there's different type. I'd probably say there's 3 types of e-commerce kind of stores on Facebook ad library, right? The first is your typical Chinese dropshipping store. Now, to be honest, these aren't great. These are usually set up by like factories in China, maybe affiliate marketers are running them, or they have like a guy who runs the ads. The ad copy is just whatever. It isn't great. You wouldn't want to copy it. The ad creatives are like just factories, maybe factory footage from China, or really bad footage that if you was watching it as a customer, you probably wouldn't be impressed, right? You ain't built that level of trust to buy from them. You don't really want to replicate from them. You can sometimes take their products, but get better footage, but you wouldn't really want to replicate from them. The other end of the spectrum is fully fledged brands, right? They've created their own product itself, something maybe like Ridge Wallet. That guy crushes it, like they do crazy numbers, super smart guy, and their brand's really good, but they own the product. There's no point in copying them. They have a custom product, right? And then you have the mini dropshipping brands that are like, their product itself is just white labeled, but they've kind of created a brand out of it. So they've maybe added a logo to the product and shipped it in an actual box. And those types of guys are the ones you want to kind of copy, because typically their creatives are really good. They hire out UGC. They'll pay for influencers and that type of thing. So there's a lot of good content online that you can kind of structure, or you can base your own creatives off and order the product and film it, which I've done before. Their websites are usually quite good. They use themes maybe like Shrine, or they've got cheap ones like Impulse that's been developed by a developer that looks really good. So those are the guys you want to kind of base your dropshipping store off. You know, you don't really want to come off as a cheap dropshipping store. You won't get sales. And also, conversely, you can't pretend to create a product. So yeah, reverse engineer, I would say, what they're doing. Don't just directly, I always tell this to our students and us as well, don't just directly rip stuff. There's some dropshippers who do prefer to just directly rip stuff. They'll rip the whole funnel, the creatives. You're going to get DMCA'd sooner or later. And when you do, pretty much Shopify will side with them. Of course, it's their content, rightly so. So you're just going to have back to square one and have to find a new product. The best thing you can do is find a product that's working well, reverse engineer what they're doing. It's not too hard. You know, look at the creative. If they have a hook of, for example, for this shapewear product I was talking about, the first clip was the woman's fat is hanging out essentially, and within 3 seconds, she obviously pulls up the pants and it disappears, right? Something like that is easy to replicate. You can just find another clip on TikTok. You can find another clip on YouTube Shorts is another good spot to look at. Just reverse engineer that hook. Follow the structure of the video. Usually a good structure is something like hook, problem, solution. You know, you hook them on with a video, agitate the problem. Now this pants is the solution. Run through the benefits, increase your confidence, find your dream man. Social proof at the end, towards the end of the video, right? So not only does this work for this woman, we have thousands of customers who have already bought it. And then finish off with an offer, right, of 50% off, free shipping, or buy 2 of these and get 1 free. Usually works well for cheap products. Buy 1, get 1 free, and then also a CTA as well. So that's how I really kind of structure our dropshipping ads and how we find, you know, products that can do well for the long term.